any dropped frames before we can get into this. Alright, I think we're good to go there. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bot to throw out who's hosting it and also the maps. Give me 1 second. Let me get all that stuff situated.
Okay.
Alright, Cody, you're the host.
Woot woot.
Let me do another map reroll real quick. Actually, do it.
Adjust my monitor here without knocking anything over.
Okay, so game 1 is Garland, game 2 I'll reroll, and then game 3 Monastery Vaults level 3. So, small medium map. We'll pick the second one because it did 2 Garlands twice, and then Monastery Vaults is the that big map with like the kind of looks like tunnels kind of deal.
Oh yeah, the one that me and Drace played on that one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like the railings or whatever you can kind of walk up on.
Yeah, that should be the one. All right, when you're ready, let me know. We're going to start.
All right, I'm boosting now.
All right. All right, welcome folks to the second pre-made battle test for this weekend, or for the Tactics League pre-made builds. We're going to be doing some more multiplayer here, making sure that stuff seems pretty good, testing the waters with some changes that were recently made this week, and kind of just chillaxing and having some fun. This will be Drace POV, but this is Yoshi on the mic going up against Wingman, and they're getting ready to set up now in a second.
Let's see, map selection, manual, time limit, action limit, none. Boop, boop. Arithmetics don't matter. And you said
Garland.
Yep. The snow house? Garland? No, Garland.
Garland. Yeah, Garland. Mm-hmm.
Check the second map.
So many maps.
Check the second map.
Did I pass it?
What do you mean check the second map?
I think it should be the second map.
I think you had it. I think. You got it, Cody? Or are you still looking for it?
I'm still looking for it.
It should be near the top, I think.
That's what I said, check the second map.
Oh, I'm stupid. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how I completely overlooked that.
It's all
My
good.
apologies.
Alright guys, so we're going to be doing game 1 on Garland. Game 2 we'll re-roll and figure out the map for that. And then game 3 will be in Monastery Vaults level 3. We're going to start the first match off on one of the starting maps. If you play through story, I believe this is like the second or third map you actually play on. The spawn's going to be a little different from the normal story modes. This is in PvP mode, but it's still pretty much the same. Medium-sized map. We've got a few height areas where there's some rooftops for some height advantage, and some decent areas for geomancy as well. So let's see how these two kind of work around the map and how they play out.
Are you?
Hmm?
Oh, there we go. I couldn't find the character I was looking for. Oh.
Alright, and we're about to begin here. First game of the best of 3 match series. Once again, if you're just tuning in, you're going to be watching Drace play, and we're going to be on Garland. This is Drace versus Wingman using the tactically pre-made builds. And here we go. Alright, we're going to be starting off with Drace. First action is Time Walker. Since he is the guest or the enemy on this game, he will have basically speed advantage, since the enemy always tends to act first based on speed. Alright, Drace is going to start off with Purifying Breeze. It's going to apply Protect Shell to his party, halving the damage taken in half from physical and magic attacks. We're swapping over to Wingman's Hunter.
Oh.
Hunter's gonna be. I want to be kind of eyeballing Hunter here on this game. This is definitely a map where his ignore elevation movement ability allows him to kind of get anywhere, any point, height-wise. He's also, with a few turns to set up, can be very dangerous for Drace. So that's how that pans out for him. And we're swapping over to Drace's Delita. And that's going to be the end of Delita's turn. And now we're going to take over to Drace's Cleric. She's going to go on and start readying a spell. And that's what's going to be the end of her turn. Swapping over now to Wingman's Ramza.
Oh yeah, this is like the first mission of the game, isn't it?
I think it's the second. I think it's the second map in story.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you
Yeah.
start in front of the big gate, the tutorial one. This like the first.
Yeah,
the
pretty
real
much.
fight.
Yeah, pretty much where your Ramza is right now is where you actually would start at, like as a player, on this map in story mode. But they shift the spawns in PvP where you stall in the house.
Like it. That's definitely a lot more fair. Maybe a little unfair for I guess the guest side.
We'll see. Alright, switching over now to Drace's Peravir. Peravir recently had an update to where she now has the ability to cast Haste and Regen to her party, which, speaking of which, is going on right now. That's going to speed up Drace's party by having faster turns in between.
Oh, forgot about White Mage. Shit. Popping off an earthen wall early.
You know it. Time to get walled. And now we're going over to Wingman's Peravir as well.
No. Play that very smart. Should have left everybody up top.
Yeah, you gotta think about that setup. That's alright. So you more than likely still have turns, but, you know. In
Oh
case,
yeah, it's gonna be a while if there's actual any blood. Larger of a map.
Alright, Wingman's going to go ahead and haste regen his Peravir and his Sentinel. So that way they already have a faster turn order. And now it is Wingman's Sentinel's turn. Sentinel is a Dragoon-based tank that uses Yato skills. Also has a little bit of support, a little bit of damage, healing, and the ability to buff the team to some degree using Protect Shell. Alright, Drace's Cleric's Earthen Wall, or Golem, has now cast. Golem will apply a physical damage shield to all of Drace's allies at once, equal to Cleric's health, which I believe is in the 300s. So they have a pretty strong damage shield, but it doesn't protect against everything. This is going to be mostly physical contact damage. Alright, Time Walker went ahead and used Protect Shell. And now we're switching back over to Delita. For those who do not know, Delita, we have our Delita set up as a DPS, or excuse me, as a tank support hybrid. DPS tank. That would be Ramses is the DPS support hybrid, but Delita is mostly known for his ability to status affect teams. He's pretty nice. He's also very bulky. He's able to take quite a bit of hits.
the RNG gods are in favor of the Delita.
Guys, your
Or
favorite
maybe
Delita.
it's just Drace. I don't know. But after the Toad, the instant death, and the Confuse.
I think that's what Drace is going to be banking on tonight, hitting the stats.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring here as well.
Alright, switching over to
let's see.
Wingman's Hunter. He's already been +1 on PA. PA is short for physical attack. It is a direct buff or stat buff where the physical damage the Hunter will deal. And as he continues to buff his Hunter's damage, and with a bow, he'll be able to do a lot of damage at once. So, I see how Wingman sets this up. He's going to bring his Hunter back and get another focus off. Going to bring him to +2 PA, strengthening his damage. And now we're switching back over to Drace's Warden. Warden is a Geomancer that has ice-based black magics. He also has the ability to use the ground underneath him to cause damage and potentially cause a status effect. So if you like to play control games or you'd like to kind of cripple your opponent, Geomancy is definitely something to consider. The other interesting tidbit with Warden is Warden has a sword that with using the attack command, he has a chance to cast Blizzara, and not only deal decent damage with his normal attack, but then also do magic damage as well. So, pretty interesting little combo he can do. And he's also able to absorb ice-based spells as well. Alright, now we're switching over to Wingman's Sentinel. Alright, he's going to go ahead and get in position.
Oh, I'm really horrible about my positioning.
Heard he is very horrible with positioning. That's alright, he still has a few turns to work with before the blood starts to flow. He's going to go and get Protect Shell onto his party. And now we're going to swap over down to Wingman's Ramza. Ramza is set up as a DPS support. He has the ability to do damage. He's using Dark Knight abilities, so he's able to absorb health and while taking health away, or absorb magic while taking magic away, kind of deal. He also has the ability to buff his allies and himself through either Shout, Steel, or Tailwind, and he also even has access to Ultima in case you want to use him as a magic spec. So he's got all sorts of different tricks. Switching over now to Wingman's Apothecary. Apothecary is a DPS support hybrid. He has a gun that does decent damage, about 144 without Protector Shell in play. He also has weak damaging Geomancy, but he does have access to Geomancy, so he's able to potentially apply status effects. And of course, as a chemist, he can throw items at a distance to help his team recover from damage or recover from certain status effects, or even revive the fallen. Alright, Golem's going to go ahead and take that. Yep.
Did not realize that.
Warden's Nature's Wrath will proc on that attack. Golem will absorb the hit, and it does cause Drace's Warden to deal some damage back and return to Apothecary. Drace is now advancing his Paravir. Alright, looks like Paravir is going to start casting. And now we're switching over to Wingman's Paravir. Paravir is a samurai that also uses black magics, or the level 1 black magics, Fire, Blizzard, and Thunder, as well as having a little bit of damaging Iato, which Iato is basically just like Katana Spirit abilities, and also the ability to speed up his team, which is in fact what he just did. Oh, Mace Immune did break, however, so that means that Wingman has one less Mace Immune in his inventory, which brings it down to one more. Typically, that kind of sword or katana will last for a good duration of the fight, but if this fight gets dragged out, he could potentially lose haste regen and may need to reapply it, depending on how the battle goes. So, got to be a little extra careful if he needs to reuse that later. Switching over now to Drace's Time Walker. Looks like she's just going to go ahead, advance a little bit in her turn. And now we're over to Drace's Delita. Looks like he's going to go ahead and push forward. And he's going to go and try to do a Hollow Bolt. Or we're going to get a Silence off. No silence off, but does decent damage to both Apothecary and Paravir, putting Apothecary in critical condition. And now we're switching over to Drace's Cleric. Cleric begins casting, and it's going to end her turn. Paravir is going to go in and start using Thunder. Ooh, Apothecary with the block. Interesting play there. Does a little bit of damage to Wingman's Paravir. Another Golem's going out. It's going to refresh the damage shields on all of Drace's party. Basically, at this point, Wingman's going to play very careful about the abilities he uses. It does hinder his Hunter in a very vulnerable state because he won't be able to get his damage off until he breaks the shields on targets. Alright, looks like we're going to go in and try to do a Geo. That takes down Wingman's Apothecary. That's the first kill of the game. Currently, Drace 5 units, Wingman 4. Switching over now to Wingman's turn, his Hunter.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Alright, Hunter does attack, however Golem absorbs, and Warden procs Nature's Wrath. Man, that's a good, that's a very nice reaction skill, I'm not gonna lie. Basically, if you guys don't know, Nature's Wrath, if the character takes damage, HP damage, they basically cast Geomancy back at the person. Wingman's gonna go and advance his Ramza. Oh, that's a very interesting play there. Wingman's Ramza does Unholy Sacrifice, which is basically a very strong detonating AoE. It does a lot of damage and hurts himself. However, that does actually eliminate Wingman's Paravir in the same instance of dealing damage to Drace's Paravir, Delita, and Warden. So it's a very risky play. Let's see if that's going to work in Wingman's favor. And we're switching over now to Drace's Time Walker. Let's push it towards the front line here. Like she's going to do a Rain of Wisdom and top off her allies. And now we're switching over to Drace's Paravir. Alright, she's going to do Kotetsu, which is pretty decent AoE damage. She did not get the blind off, however. Still a decent bit to Ramza. Ramza should be at a pretty decent HP loss state right now between Unholy Sacrifice and also taking damage from Kotetsu. He's at 168, so he's still, you know, capable of doing Unholy Sacrifice if that's what Wingman decides to do, but he is also very close to being KO'd. Switching over to Drace's Delita, that might actually be the case. Let's see what he ends up playing here. Drace's going to go ahead and do Cleansing Strike on Ramza, excuse me, and that will KO him as well. Alright, Drace is going to go ahead and advance his Delita into the water, and in his turn. And I'll switch over to Drace's Cleric. Looks like she's going to start casting in the back row. Is it going to be another Golem? Who knows? It looks like she's already got the ability to cast. She's reapplying her damage shield again to his allies, protecting them against physical damage. And their shields have been refreshed. This is putting Wingman in a very, very tight spot at this point. Looks like Ward's going to go ahead and try to use Geomancy on... He didn't get it. He didn't get no Sentinel. Alright. Still does some damage, but I think he was trying to go for the Toad there. However, Sentinel did proc Magicka Boost, which will up her MA by 1, increasing her effectiveness with her Iato skills. Drace currently has Field Presence. He is up, I believe it was what, 4 units to 2 on 5 units? Okay, yeah, my bad. 5 units to Wingman, so at this point, Drace definitely has the board. Alright, Wingman's going to be in a tight spot. This is his last DPS, or damage dealer, he has on his team. His Sentinel is soaking up some damage, but is really pretty much what only offensive presence he has right at the moment. And with Drace having his Earthen Wall up on his allies, Hunter is going to be in a very poor state, if you will, because at this point, if he does any attacks or even uses aim, he's not going to be able to crack through health. He's going to go ahead and force Warden to proc Nature's Wrath, and that's going to put Hunter now at critical condition, down to 41 HP. Alright, Sentinel's going to go ahead and try to jump on Warden. See if she gets enough time or speed to be able to land before Warden's turn. It looks like that's going to be the case based off the turn order. It's going to be Drace's Peerver's turns, Time Walker's turns, trying to see what kind of play he's going to make here before the landing. Alright, Drace is going to attempt to do a quick on his Warden. If he can get, since he can get the quick off before the jump, it depends if quick will miss or land. If it does land, however, Warden will be able to immediately act before the jump lands, which gives Drace an opportunity to move his Warden at safety. Hunter will go down by Delita, and this now brings Wingman down to 1 unit left with a Sentinel currently in mid-jump. Swapping over now to Drace's Peerver. It looks like Drace is going to do some preemptive AoE, putting some fire down on the ground. Alright, quick is going to go up. Will it land? It does not. Alright, this will put Warden in danger of taking damage from jump. It does get hit by 132. No Nature's Wrath proc, however. I'll switch over to Drace's Cleric's turn. Alright, he's going to advance his Cleric potentially. Alright. So what kind of play he makes next? Alright, so now that he's, looks like Cleric's going to be preparing to cast, and Drake's going to advance his Warden over, and going to potentially attack. The attack does get blocked by Sentinel's parry. And that's going to be pretty much it for there. Alright. And looks like we got a dudded out fire. And Cleric will cure Warden and Sentinel. Nope. Oh, I see. So Sentinel has Mirror Melon, which means that he can't take magics, basically. They'll be deflected elsewhere. So advancing in that position caused Sentinel not to be healed. Even though Warden got healed from that. Alright, now we're switching over to Wingman's last character. Is going to go and do Spirit Blade. A little bit of damage to both groups. Assure got broken from that as well. And he's going to advance, or push his Sentinel back, excuse me. And he's going to end his turn. We're switching over to the man with the plan, Delita. He's going to try to get a status off, it looks like. Status does miss, but does do some damage. I believe he was trying to go for a KO there. Immediately just get her off the board. Switching over to Time Walker. Alright, Time Walker is going to attempt to cast Quake on Delita. Just a note, Delita has very little faith in magics and the belief of that sort, so his faith is actually lower. So since his faith is lower, he may have a higher chance of missing. So maybe we get a little RNG. It does not connect, however, so that will not be able to have a setup combo on Drace's behalf. Switching over to It's Cleric. He's going to start casting again and ending turn. Alright, Golem's going to go ahead and start casting immediately. Reapplying damage shields on his group. Alright, Protect Shell is going off on a few characters here. Or excuse me, one character. I believe that was Paravir, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, Warden does a little bit of damage to Sentinel, however it does proc Sentinel's magic boost, giving her a little bit more MA, which will in turn increase her effectiveness with her Yato. Alright, the lead's going to try to get that KO off once again. Does not get the KO status. Reprocs magic boost again. This rate Sentinel's capable healing with Murasame is going to start to get really strong here. And as being on a tank, she's able to take in a lot of hits. So I think Drake's going to have to play this up pretty decently to bring her down very quick. He's going to go with the Kotetsu. Puts her in critical condition. Magic boost does proc again. For some reason, Pierre, got a job. And switching over to Sentinel. In critical condition with 15 MA, this will improve her effectiveness. Or is he going to jump, or what kind of play is he going to make here? Alright, he's going to push Sentinel into the water. Trying to get away from Delita, and going to go in and attempt to do a jump on Time Walker. However, it is Time Walker's turn. So she could, in theory, just shift one tile over and be out of range to jump. Alright. See what kind of play Drace is going to make here. So he's going to go ahead and teleport her out of safety, so she won't get landed by the jump. Time Walker's going to quick herself, I believe. It does miss, so no instant action. Got a couple buffs starting to fall off now, so about 39 actions in, and haste and regen are starting to come off, so they do stay up for quite a bit. Switching over to Drace's Cleric's turn. She's just going to go ahead and end her turn. Of course, no target for Sentinel's jump, so that fails. She's back in the river in critical HP. And switching over to Delita. This could be the final blow here. See how Drace tries to play it out. Drace is going to go in Advanced Judgment Blade. Sentinel goes down for the count. That will give Drace game 1. Game sirs. Alright, good stuff, guys. Wayne, you might want to reset your emulator since you had some katana breaks before you get into the next game. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, don't worry about that, Cody. The stuff breaking the multiplayer doesn't actually affect the inventory. All right. So, both you guys good? We made there. I don't hear you.
Already.
Huh?
I was muted. I already closed my browser. Give me a second.
Okay, that's fine. Give me a second. Let me go in and roll the second game too. Okay, Orbone Monastery will be game 2.
What was the other map? Or the next map?
Orbone Monastery, the first map. Should be the first map in the game. You ready to host?
I'm hosting.
Hosting. Alright, these guys are going to start getting the game 2 set up. Alright, so game 2 is going to be on Orborn Monastery. This is the first map you play on if you play through story. And they're going to be taking it back. Here we go. They're going to start preparing their next party. Just as a note here, this map is very small, so this is going to be a map where we might see some very aggressive play. Because it's going to be kind of hard to get a lot of setup time. So I highly recommend personally not to do a lot of setup compositions that require setup time. There's a good chance your opponent's going to go in very fast and very hard. So let's see how they'll play this up. Alright, just a few moments here. The game 2 will begin. You're watching Drace's point of view versus Wingman. They're going to be playing on Orborn Monastery, a very small map, so it might get chaotic here. We're about to find out. Alright, game 2 is about to initialize now. Drace will be considered the enemy or the guest since he is the join in. Wingman is the host, so depending on their composition, Drace may go first, but let's see how that plans out here. Alright, here we go. Game 2 is beginning right now. And first action is going to be Drace's Time Walker. Alright, Time Walker's going to start advancing very early with a Protect Shell on our group, cutting down their damage taken from physical and magic attacks in half. And she's going to go in her turn. Switching over now to Drace's Ramza. Looks like it's going to go in and advance directly into Wingman's group. I think we know what's about to happen here. It's going to try doing a Holy Sacrifice, breaking down Wingman's allies, and even gets a slow off on the Lita, which is very important. Wingman's bouncer does proc her soulbind, returning damage, putting Ramza in pretty nasty shape in terms of health. Now it's over to Drace's assassin. Looks like Drace picked a pretty fast lineup here, so it looks like he's trying to go the aggressive route.
How do they calculate? Is it just like randomized if they have matching speeds?
No. So if you're both hasted and with the same speed rate, then it's the enemy has first.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So like being a host, being a host doesn't matter to a degree, because of that.
Oh, that's just.
Yeah, it uses as a tiebreaker. I think it's the third tiebreaker. All right, switching over to Wingman's Alita. He has been greatly injured by Ramza's Unholy Sacrifice play, but he still, can do some work here as well. Alright, Delia's going to try to go for a Judgment Blade. It connects, putting Ramza down into very critical HP state. Hey, Bebop, how you doing tonight? Did I win yet? Not sure what you mean. For those who are tuning in, this is Drace vs. Wingman Game 2 on Premade builds. Then we're going to be switching over to Wingman's Bouncer's turn. Alright, looks like we've been still trying to plan here. What's the next plan is going to be? Alright, he's going to go ahead and push his bouncer over to the side. Alright, she's going to go into his chakra. Okay, he's trying to keep his allies healthy. Pretty good play. And in her turn, now switching over down to Wingman's, is that a Warden or Berserker? What we got? Berserker? Alright, so for those, we haven't seen Berserker tonight, so for those who do not know, Berserker is a potential hard-hitting one-shotter. And, well, he rams it down, but he's also already weakened.
Well.
Ramsey will go down here, so that's the first kill of the game. And now we're switching over down to Wingman's Assassin, who's in critical condition, 14 HP. Assassin is a very interesting character. He has the ability to do some control by using Still Charm, especially when your opponent has female characters. Also has the ability to apply Doom through Doomfist, and pretty decent damage through Pummel, as well as having double knives that both have a chance to apply either Doom or Silence. He's going to go in and push his Assassin in the back row with no action and ends his turn. Now switching over to Drace's Warden. Alright, this Warden's going to do a very interesting play here. He's going to go into a Geomancy. It's going to be a 3-hit based on positioning. It will take down Assassin, and it will put some damage done on Delita and Bouncer. So we now are a 4-unit versus 4-unit. Switching over now to Drace's Paravir. Paravir's going to advance forward. Oh, she tried to get that lucky strike, but however, Berserker's Mana Shield will absorb the hit entirely, keeping them from harm's way, at least for this turn. Now switching over to Wingman's Paravir. This map gives me nightmares. How does this map give you nightmares, Bebop? Is it just because of the close quarters, or? Alright, Wingman's Paravir is going to go in and do haste region, which of course will remove Delita slow. So now his Bouncer, Paravir, and Delita are all now sped up and also have healing over time. Switching over now into Drace's Time Walker. Time Walker is a samurai with time magics and using support Iato skills such as Murasame, which heals, and also Kiyomori that applies Protect Shield to the group, with also some buff and debuff time magics as well. However, she does require the aid of her allies. She doesn't really have a lot of damage outside of that, so she is really important to keep her in the rear pretty much at all times and away from safety. Alright, looks like she's going to try to cast Quick here on Warden. She's going to get the immediate turn. And Warden does get the proc, so his CT is back at 100, which will mean he gets the immediate action. Warden's going to go ahead and do another Geo, taking down Delita. And stopping Paravir. Oh, this is in real trouble here for Wingman's case. Bouncer will get the Soulbind proccing in, which will return half the damage taken and healing from the damage done. Drace really has a map at this moment, especially with those moves here. He's going to go in and push back his Warden, and then his turn. Now switching over to Bouncer's turn. Bouncer is a very physically defensive and physically offensive tank. She's able to take a lot of hits and be able to sustain through Life Font and Chakra and Soulbind. She can do a lot of healing and also potentially do some damage through Pummel or even Shockwave. Wingman currently only has 2 usable characters left here. He only has his his Berserker, whose Mana Shield has been broken completely at this point, and his Bouncer, who is pretty much at full health, or is at full health. A little injured here, but she still has a lot of sustainability, so probably gonna be a little bit of time for Drace to take her down completely. Let's see what Wingman can do here within the last couple steps. Alright, Bebop spent like a month straight starting new game after new game over and over in an effort to lose the tour. Oh, okay. I gotcha. All right, Drace's assassin's turn. All right, looks like he's gonna try to make the play here. It misses. He was attempting to woo her heart and basically gain control of, well, take control away from Wingman, but it did miss. Wingman's gonna be very mindful of that too, considering that she's only one of the few standing allies up. Switching over now to Wingman's Berserker. Berserker's going to advance behind Assassin. Gets the 480, so lucky strike there. Assassin will be taken down. Alright, now switching over to Drace's Time Walker's turn. Alright, this is going to start casting on his Warden, and then turn. Switching over now to Drace's Paravir. So he's just going to try to come in hot. Will take down Berserker for 450, and he goes down. At this point, Wingman has one usable ally, his Bouncer. His Paravir has been stopped, so she is unusable. So currently it is 3 units Drace, one unit Wingman. However, Drace will still need to take down Paravir or to completely end the game, even though she is stopped. Right now, the main threat is Bouncer at this point. Speaking of which, it is now Wingman's Bouncer's turn. She's going to go for a Shockwave on Paravir. Does some decent damage, but not enough to really, really push the buttons here. Time Walker's going to go in Hastasia Warden. Speeding it up, making him more of a threat than he already is. Haste will connect, speeding up his actions. And speaking of which, it's now Warden's turn. Alright, Ward's going to go for Contortion, trying to get the stone off. It does not connect, but does do some damage. No Soulbind proc today. He's safe from taking return fire, and it's going to end Warden's turn. Now switching over to Drace's Time Walker. Time Walker's going to slowly advance, still in the back row of the group. And she's going to do Rain of Wisdom, healing, doing an AoE healing. Topping off allies here, Paravir and herself. And ending her turn. Switching over to Wingman's last active unit, Bouncer. Bouncer is a tank, physically defensive and physically offensive. She can take a lot of hits, especially with Drace's lineup, since he has physical characters remaining at this point. So it's going to be a little bit of time for Drace to really take her down. So Wingman's have to really play this by ear here. Can he stall enough to get his Paravir out of stop? Or will Drace take her down before it's too late? So let's see how this plays out here. Switching over now to Drace's Paravir. She's advancing forward. Alright, I tend to do Blinding Darkness, so if we get the blind off, it will kill Wingman's Paravir, who's in stone or stop state. She goes down. Soulbind Roll will turn a little bit of damage and heal from that as well. Wingman is definitely down to 1 unit remaining at this point. Alright, Drake's going to try to get the stone off again. Stone does not connect again, however, does do some damage. No Soulbind, however. Bouncer is really starting to get in trouble here at this point. Alright, Drace is going to go in and do a Protect Shell on his Warden, Paravir, and Time Walker, resetting their Protect Shell buffs. He's going to be taking half damage from Bouncer at this point. Alright, Wingman's Bouncer's turn. His last unit he has on the board. Alright, Wingman's gonna go push it towards Peer. Alright, he's gonna attempt to do a pummel. Hopefully get a high roll. Got a decent roll. Went from 90 to 108 on the roll instead, so decent damage on Peer. And I'll switch him now over to Drace's Warden, excuse me. And he's gonna try to get that stone off again. Stone will connect this time. That will put her in petrification state. At this point, it is pretty much a good game. At this point, Drace will need to just take her HP down to 0. Oh, excuse me. Bad. I'm thinking about stop. That is game over since it is stone, not stop. And that will be it. Drace will have 3-0 on that with the units remaining. And Drace will also take game 2. Drace will, at this point, have won the match. Good games to both the gentlemen.
Good game. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, sound all set. Come on now.
My mic's muted.
Oh man. Appreciate it, Bebop. Yeah, you know, it has some different stuff. I mean, we try to aim towards doing a little bit of like role-based stuff. Ultimately it slows down like the end game kind of sense, but it gives a little bit more thought towards like having certain compositions. You know, the maps still matter, just like we just noticed. Small map like that, you know, you don't have a lot of setup time. You're probably going to have to do something really quick on your first turn to start booking it, kind of deal. Especially if your opponent already has a lot of like frontline threats. So there's a lot of different plays you can do with the pre-made stuff. We're enjoying it for the most part, but yeah, definitely better than watching AI battles. That's for sure. All right, fellas. Do you guys want to like do another game, or y'all want to call it? What's up?
I'm for whatever.
No, for whatever. All right. I tell you what. Let's go. Let's do game 3 then. Monastery Vaults level 3. Wingman, if you don't mind, if you're ready to host. Kind of just check that out real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Good to go. Drace did win the series, but we're gonna do a pretty much just a game 3 anyway. Just kind of see, you know, get a little extra game. And so far, time-wise, pretty good. We're like 47 minutes in the stream, so games went by pretty well. I think first game was like 30. I think it was just hitting 40 actions, and that game was just under 30. So, not bad.
Yeah, host is a complete. That shouldn't even be a map. The fact that you could just like walk in with Ramza because he had equal speed as my Delita and just nuke everybody into the dirt was just ridiculous.
So if you're worried about that, Cody, like that being a thing, make sure you always have a haster with a lot of speed to match his speed, so that way you can get the initiative first. Because you wanna. Because one thing about
there is no quick cast haster that's faster.
No, I'm saying that you have a character with haste at his speed. He's what, 12 speed, I think.
Yeah. But I'm saying like when he can literally just go in turn 1. Like,
yeah. So
Premades, there's nothing I can do to counter that if I'm host.
Exactly. Yeah. So as Drace was saying, like Hunter, Time Walker, Distractor would be the ones. Like that's all I was referring to. Like they get the action before he does. So if you, but they can't. Yeah, they can't directly do anything to him. But they can potentially, like let's say for example, Time Walker, you can get Protect Shell up. That means that you won't get bombed as hard, basically, because you know that you'll have the time or you have the turn order before he'll be able to do it. Like something like that would be something to consider down the road. Like, oh, I'm getting this map. Oh, it's Dre, so he's probably gonna come blow me up.
Turn 1, you could go in an unholy sacrifice. That's still ridiculous. Like, what? All I can do is like move a few characters out of the way, and then my Delita still gets smacked in the face with an unholy sacrifice.
Or got sacrificed. The map, Cody, is gonna be Monastery Vaults level 3.
All right. That's just crazy. And also, I might be a little biased here, but I feel like Warden is a little overperforming too, like with his range.
Heard overperform?
That he has AoE.
That Warden's overperforming.
Well, yeah, he's got an AoE like 160 smack and Geomancy.
He does, but in the same sense, if we're talking, well, it is AoE, yes, but if we're talking like using a single target, or if you know they have it, don't group your units at any point.
Well, I know not to group my units, but like I didn't think he was gonna be able to take like 5 steps and hit me from across the map.
Yeah, that, I mean, yes, that would be just more map dependency.
What is it, like 8 panels? 7 panels?
Geo, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
All All right, guys, we're getting ready to go into game 3 here. Like I said, the series has been won by Drace, but we're going to just play game 3 anyway. So what it would have been if Wingman had won that last one, for example. They're getting ready to set up their units now. This map is a large map. There's a lot of space in between, so potential setup time and also potentials for ranged hitters. So let's see how that happens. I'm getting ready to start the next game. Alright, and we're going to now start up game 3. Monastery Vaults level 3, or 3rd level. We started from Orborn Monastery, then we're here. We're going underneath the church. Alright, let's see what kind of picks we got here tonight. Interesting lineup, okay, okay. Alright, let's see who acts first. It will be Wingman Stalwart. Stalwart is technically the fastest character out of all Premade builds, so this is going to be interesting startup. As a bard, he's able to buff his allies through like speed, MA or PA, or even healing or MP if you need that. He also has martial arts skills to support ones such as chakra, revive, and purification. Basically able to restore health, res someone that's fallen, or cleanse pretty much every debuff in the game for the most part. However, the biggest thing with Stalwart is that he has to be always like in the same height as the target, so gotta be really careful with his positioning here. Alright, Drace is going to start off with Purifying Breeze, applying Protect Shell to his allies. Preparing for the long game, seems. Alright, he's going to get her pretty much in the back line there in his turn. And I'll switch it over to Drace's Ramza. Ramza's going to go in and shout, raising his bravery by 10, increasing his speed by 1, PA and MA by 1 as well. And also ending his turn. Switching over now to Drace's Cleric. Alright, she's going to start casting. I think we know what might be happening here. If only just a little guess. I'm switching over now to Wingman's Ramza. Both opponents have a Ramza here, so it's really going to be interesting how they play them out. They're going to be using it for late game, they're going to be using it for early game. This case. Wingman's also going to shout his Ramza, upping his MA, PA, Bravery, and Speed. And he's going to start pushing him up towards the upper portion of the room. And ending his turn. Now we're over to Wingman's Apothecary. Apothecary is a DPS-based cleric, or excuse me, DPS-based chemist. He has some support while also being able to do weak geomancy, but able to apply status. He has a pretty decent hidden gun as well. Alright, Wingman's going to go in and instead of bringing him up, he's going to bring his Apothecary back down to the ground level. And in his turn. Switching over down, I believe we have Wingman's Cleric. Alright, looks like Wingman's going to start casting as well. So he's going to be preparing for the long game here. And now switching over to Drace's Warden. All-time favorite for tonight. And ending Warden's turn immediately. Switching over to Paravir now. She's going to go ahead and haste regening her allies, speeding up their actions, and also giving them healing over time. Alright, and that's going to do it for Parabir. So she's going down to Wingman's Parabir. Alright, she's also going to go and do Haste Regen as well. She's going to get the 4 stack here. Ramses out of the equation on this cast. Speeding up his allies with Haste and Regen, applying healing over time as well. Alright, Parabir is going to advance to the upper portion of the room. Stalward's turn. He's still preparing a song, so it depends on what kind of actions Wingman's going to make. He's going to go ahead and immediately end his turn. He's going to go and push for the first song to be played. Drace's Golem is now taking effect, providing a physical damage shield for his allies, equal to Cleric's HP, or maximum HP. And Wingman's Cleric is also applying a physical damage shield as well to his allies. These guys are definitely going to be having this game take a little bit here, so let's see how this plays out here. Just a hunch. Switching over now to Drace's Time Walker. Just kind of just chilling in the back behind the wall. So what kind of play she's about to make here. Alright, Time Walker's gonna start casting quick. And kind of just shift to the side here. And that's going to do it for her. Alright, Reason Melody's going out. This should buff the speed of Wingman's allies, depending. Every song and every dance has a 50% chance, or at least the buff ones, has a 50% chance to hit or miss. So overall, pretty decent landing. Now switching over to Drace's Ramza. Alright, interesting. Alright, Drace is going to go ahead and cast Steel on Clary. That's going to up her bravery. Basically at this point, since he's up in her bravery, it is safe to say that he's probably going to be trying to up her effectiveness with a Cup of Life, which is a reaction ability which requires bravery. So the more bravery she has, the likelihood she'll do it. Essentially what will happen is if she is overhealed by someone else, not herself, but by someone else, so like Time Walker, she will, and it does activate, she will heal any ally with the lowest health that is closest to her by line of sight from any point in the map. So basically she could do some distance healing. Alright, now switching over to Drace's Warden's turn. He's going to advance a little bit and end his turn. Now we're over to Wingman's Apothecary. Apothecary's going to start heading on up, and he's going to end his turn. Switching over now to Drace's Cleric. Cleric's going to start casting Regen and end her turn. Hopping over now to Wingman's Stalwart. He's still currently casting Reason Melody, but it's still going to be a bit before that procs again. So let's see if he switches up songs or switches up his actions. Alright, Liz is going to change the song here. And he's going to end his turn. Alright, Time Walker's quick. Will it land? It does connect. Ramza will immediately get his actions right now. Alright, I'm just going to advance towards his group line here. Alright, time to give Cleric some more bravery. The braver she becomes, the more likely she's susceptible to casting Cup of Life. And on over to Wingman's Cleric. Alright, his cleric's going to go ahead and end her turn. Swapping over now to Drace's cleric, she's going to immediately start casting her Regen. Regen will connect on both Time Walker and cleric. They both now have healing over time. And now switching over now to Paravir. Paravir's going to start advancing towards the upper portion of the room. And she's going to end her turn. Now I'm switching over now to Wingman's Paravir. Paravir's is going to go and start giving haste regen to Ramza at this point, which I believe is the main target. But however, that will still refresh the timer duration on haste regen on Paravir and Apothecary, so they'll be able to have a little bit longer. Considering the nature of the map and considering the way these groups are buffing and preemptively planning, this is probably going to be a little longer fight here, so it's not a bad idea to have those buffs ready to go when they're going to need it most, especially for the mid game. Paravir's is going to get off the upper half and drop back down to the floor, now swapping over to Wingman's Ramza. Ramza's going to shout, upping his bravery, speed, PA, and MA again. Interesting, okay. No one's really advancing through the middle threshold right now. They're kind of all just chilling on the side. Now we're swapping over to Wingman Stalwart, who is currently performing a new song here. And Sorrow will end his turn. Switching over now to Wingman's Apothecary. Alright, Apothecary is going to back it up just a notch and end his turn. Hopping over now to Wingman's Cleric. Cleric is going to scoot a little bit more towards the sides here and end her turn. Now we're going over to Drace's Warden. Warden is also advancing to the sides of the map and ending his turn. Switching over now to Drace's Time Walker. Time Walker's going to prepare a Quake. Drace's Cleric. Hello Thea, how you doing? Thea, go get it. I hope I didn't butcher your name there. Those that are joining us, you're watching Drace versus Wingman, Drace's POV. This is game 3. Technically the series has been won to Drace, but they're going to do a game 3 anyways here. Just get another game in. Drace's Ramza is going to go ahead and tailwind, speeding up Cleric. What's up? Steel, excuse me. Using Steel to buff the Cleric's bravery. Apologies. Right, Wingman's Ramza is shouting once more, getting those stats pushed up here for the late game. Alright, now over to Drace's Paravir. Paravir is going to advance to the upper portion and end her turn. Alright, now on to Stalwart's Battle Chant. This is going to increase the PA of the group potentially. Alright, it only landed on Paraveer that time, so it was not really a successful song. But it does give Paraveer some more damage, and she's already a very hard-hitting melee. Alright, now hopping over to Paraveer. Alright, Salward's turn. You did cast Battle Chant last, as he's going to change songs, or he's just advancing. Alright, advancing towards Cleric. And now it's Wingman's Cleric's turn. Alright, switching over now to Drace's Warden. At the rate these guys are setting up, it's going to be a little bit of a drawn-out match here, so be advised of that. So let's talk about the time limit real quick while these guys are preparing to advance. The way the time limit system works in Tactics PvP is we are using 15-minute timer, which is the longest the time limit can be set. However, once you've gotten down to like 0 seconds, you don't immediately lose. What happens is for each of your character's turns, you only get 10 seconds, and it will refresh that every time. You will need to be very quick in making actions, because if you don't get certain actions input before the time runs out, that character's turn will immediately end without being able to do said action. So once these guys' timers get down, if we get that far down the road, we're going to really see some really fast-paced button pressing, basically, at this point. But we haven't gotten there yet, but just wanted to kind of throw that out there in case we really get down to time here. What happened? So it's not like someone's going to immediately lose because of time. It's more they're going to have time's not going to be on their side at all in terms of having time to actually act or wait or strategize kind of deal. Switching over to Wingman's Ramza. He will advance Ramza forward. This is going to put Ramza in position to potentially deal damage now at this point. Ramza's going in for the Sanguine Sword on Paraveer. That's 179 health from her, restoring 179 to himself. Alright, that was the first strike here. Ramza will end his turn. Now it's over to Drace's Ramza. Are we going to see some counterplay, or are we going to still kind of see some hold off? He's going to advance this Ramza forward, so I think we might see some damage here. Alright, Drace's Ramza is going to Sanguine Sword, hitting pretty hard for 243. Wingman's Apothecary. Slightly pushing forward, but he is a very ranged character, so not a bad idea. Alright, going to try to get that Geomancy off. We get the stone. The stone does not connect. Doing a little bit of damage, not really a whole lot, but it is mostly for the statusing. Time Walker's going to attempt a quick Ramza. The quick will land. That means Drace's Ramza will be able to immediately act again. This is not a good thing for Wingman's Ramza at this point, because he's about to go down. Sanguine Sword will connect. Wingman's Ramza will go down. That is the first death of this game here. And Drace will get his Ramza in position to his group, ending his turn. Alright, Wingman's Cleric's going to cast Carbuncle. This is going to apply Reflect to all of his allies automatically. Reflect will deflect any magic abilities on them if they land. It will land on Cleric, but will not land on his Paraveer. Switching over now to Drace's Paraveer, who has been injured. Alright, looks like Drace is going to go ahead and reset his haste regen buffs here. Not a bad idea at all. Alright, now moving on forward to Wingman's Paravir. He scoots his Paravir back to the back row and ends his turn. Switching over now to Wingman's Stalwart. Stalwart is currently in the middle of casting a song, or chanting a song. Is he going to switch abilities up, or he's going to kind of wait? Alright, that's going to be it for Stalwart's turn. He's going to be switching over now to Drace's Cleric. Alright, just going to begin casting with his Cleric and ending her turn. Switching over now to Wingman's Cleric. Alright, Clary's going to advance. Looks like she's going to start casting Raise on Wingman's Ramza. Hopefully it'll land here. It's going to be a second before she gets the cast off. Drace sees that to his advantage or not, we'll find out. He's advancing as Warden. Looks like he's going to try to get a attack from behind the wall. Wind Slash. Is there going to be a chance to disable? The disable does not connect, however, Dylan damaged her. Alright, Raise is now being cast. Will it land? We'll find out right now. It does connect. Ramzo's back up at 218 health. And Stalwart is also known cast his Battle Chance. A good timing for Ramzo to get back up. It does, however, miss on him. However, Paravir, Stalwart mainly do get a PA buff, which will, in the long run, help them out in particular. Stalwart uses PA for healing and revive percentage chances, and Paravir uses her PA for just raw strength. Wingman's going to push his Ramzo forward. Is he trying to gut the back line down, or is he going to try to go for something else here? About to find out. Alright, he's going to go for a Sanguine Sword against Drace's Paravir, putting her in critical condition. And ending Ramzo's turn. Now switching over now to Drace's Paravir. Or excuse me, Time Walker. Alright, Drace's Time Walker's going to do Rain of Wisdom, applying AoE healing to his group. Couple life will proc. It's going to be an additional 156. It's going to put Paravir back to full health. Cure is being cast as well. This is Drace's Cleric. Cure is also going to land. It's going to be a 122 heal. Paravir is definitely topped off. If she wasn't before, she is now. Switching over now to Wingman's Apothecary. Alright, so just going to try to land that stone on that Warden. It will. The stone will connect. Okay, that's a pretty good hit there. That's going to pretty much lock down Drace's Warden at this point. Not being able to use him for actions. So maybe Wingman can pretty much set up off of that play. Switching over now to Drace's Ramza. It's gonna Sanguine Sword, do some damage, get that healing back. Alright, and now we're gonna hop over to Wingman Stalwart. It's currently channeling Battle Chant, which is increases our chance, 50% chance to increase all of his allies' physical attack by 1. He's going to switch the song, or he's going to make a different play with the Stalwart. Right, he's going to push the Stalwart to the back row. And end his turn. Swapping over now to Drace's Paraveer. So here she's going to advance Wingman's Ramza. Is he going to risk it? Alright, he's going to do Kotetsu. Going to safely land that. That will take down Wingman's Ramza once more. We're currently Drace 5 units up, Wingman 4 units. Technically, Drace does have a unit in stone state, so he does have 5 units, but he is technically at 4, considering if the other 4 are down before he gets out of stone or does anything to the stone unit, then he will lose the match. Clarify that real quick. Swapping over to Drace's Cleric. Alright, Drace is going to push his Cleric to the back row and end her turn. Hopping over now, we're on Wingman's Cleric. She has some injuries from earlier. With Wingman's Ramza being pretty hard in the Drace stack, and it probably being his main offensive line besides Wingman's Paraveer. Let's see how this is going to play out, because at the moment, Drace could do some additional plays here to start crippling Wingman's support line. Looks like he's going to do just that. He's going to advance his Ramza, Sanguine Sword, Wingman's Apothecary. Do some pretty decent damage. He does proc the auto potion, restoring 70 HP right back. Alright, and then we're going to hop over, speaking of which, to Apothecary's turn. Apothecary is in a position to do several decent plays here, so let's see what kind of play Wingman makes here. Alright, he's going to advance his Apothecary towards his Ramza. I can only assume at this point he's going to attempt to do a Phoenix down, but we never know. Geomancy's still in the mix here. Alright, he's going to go over for the Phoenix down play. Going to be an immediate revive to Ramza, bringing it back to 8 HP. And it's going to end Apothecary's turn. Now swapping over to Ramza's turn. He is in critical condition. Let's see what kind of play he makes here. This could be a pretty good play, depending. Alright, he's going to go for the Unholy Sacrifice. Ramza is the bomb. Doing 290 to both Drace's Paraveer and Cleric, putting them both in critical condition. This will, however, cause him to KO himself because of the return damage. Alright, Drace is going to immediately Rain Wisdom his allies, or his back row back to health. No couple life proc there from his Cleric, but that still will push them back to almost full recovery from that hit. Switching now back to Wingman Stalwart. All right. Interesting. All right, he's gonna get his stalwart way far away from the rest of his group line. Wonder what kind of play Wingman's gonna be making there. So, on to the next person. Now we're on Drace Cleric. He's gonna push forward here. Looks like he's gonna attempt to unstone his warden. Wingman has advanced his Paravir. Alright, we're just going to start casting Black Magics on one of the few in the stack there. It could be Ramsey, it could be the Warden. Switching over now to Wingman's Cleric. Cleric's going to get behind the wall. Our list is going to start casting it on Apothecary. Drace's Cleric is attempting to Esuna his Warden. A Will Purge Stone. Warden is now back in action. Drace now has back to 5 active units. Wingman 4. Protect Shell is coming off now of Drace's allies, so they are very vulnerable at this point. Depending on how he positions his Paravir or his Time Walker, his Time Walker, he might be able to get some of that back onto his allies. Liz is going to go in and push his Paravir forward. Going to safely land a Kotetsu hit that will take down Wingman's Apothecary. That's another KO on the books, and that will end Paravir's turn. Cleric will miss technically on the Apothecary, but it still will target nearby targets, so that will affect Drace's Paravir, since she was directly on the Apothecary target. Now switching over to Drace's Ramza. He's going to get a critical hit Singing Sword behind the wall. That is going to take down Cleric. Wingman is in big trouble at this point, especially with a stalwart out of group. Rams is going to directly push onto Wingman's Paravir. Paravir is casting Blizzard on Ramza. Because of height, the Blizzard will not connect on Wingman's Paravir. Now switching over to Wingman's Stalwart. He is still in the middle of chanting Battle Chant, which is an increase to a 50% chance to increase all of his allies' PA by 1. Looks like he's going to continue to scoot him out of group stack completely. Switching over now to Drace's Warden. Warden's going to attempt to do a Wind Slash and get a Disable. Disable does not land. And that will be it for Warden. Star Wars Life's Anthem. Okay, he just changed the song for earlier. It's going to restore just a little bit of HP to others, but however, that doesn't really do a whole lot of good at the moment. Alright, Drace's Cleric is going to advance all the way back to the back row. Alright, Drace's Time Walker is getting a teleport off. She does successfully teleport, so she's now in the front row. She's going to get Protect Shell buffs up on Ramza herself and Warden. And now we're switching over to Wingman's Paravir. This is pretty much Wingman's last offensive line at this point. The stalwart is pretty much out of reach to her, so she is basically by herself. She does not have any healing or any kind of ways to mitigate damage. So at this point, she's going to probably need to be played as damage dealer to try to take down somebody, or is he going to have her try to flay towards stalwart? She's going to try to get the blind off on Ramza. Does not connect, but does do some damage here. Perimeter is going to advance a little bit more middle of the map. Alright, and now it's over to Drace's Cleric, applying Golem. This will apply physical damage shield to all of his allies. And just to note, the physical damage shield does not apply to everything. Like, it doesn't apply to Yados, it doesn't apply to Sanguine Sword, it doesn't apply to any of the Holy Sword abilities in the Letus skill kit. Like, stuff like that. It's like jump, attack, throw, maybe Geomancy? Oh, no Geomancy? Okay. I think some martial
jump, I don't think.
It doesn't block jump? Okay.
It doesn't block jump. I think it's just like literally just base attacks.
Yeah. I know throw is one too.
Oh yeah, throw.
Rams is going to take down Wingman's Paraveer. That's going to leave him with Stalwart as the last man standing at this point. Regions coming off of Drace's Warden and Wingman's Stalwart. Stalwart is going to advance to the upper portion of the map. Assumingly, he's going to start pulling on his gun. Golem will absorb that hit. And that's going to be it for Drace's Cleric, swapping over now to Drace's Time Walker. He advances her by teleportation up to the upper portion of the map. She's going to try to do some healing real quick. Bring back 156 health to everyone in that small stack. Alright, Drace's Warden's going to also advance to the upper portion of the map. At this point, looks like Drace is just going to go beeline straight towards Stalwart. Pretty much a non-threat at this point to his team. Drace is going to go ahead and Unholy Sacrifice directly on Stalwart, doing an immediate KO, 392. And that will be it. Drace will claim Game 3 as well. GG's. Guys, with you.
I'm going to smoke.
Heard that. Alright. That'll be it for that match here. Wingmiss is gonna take a smoke break. So, I don't know, it's probably about it anyways. So for our viewers out there, does anybody have any questions or thoughts, comments, anything like that? Did they enjoy what they seen? I know the third game is a little bit more drawn out. A lot of it's because of the map and also because of the group that each player used. I mean, really, most of them. There's a few that used ranged abilities, but they weren't specifically designated for ranging. So they had to really play a lot of like wait kind of setup and then push, instead of having like Hunter, Ranger, Shadow even. Warden's able to do range because it's Geomancy range, but they didn't really have a whole lot of range to just kind of pick from across. So a little different there in that sense. Dre, speaking of which, how do you feel about that map in particular? Anyways, between the starter and between Premade.
In starter or being able to play your own builds, the map isn't so drawn out.
Mm-hmm.
In this, kind of pigeonhole playing more of a long game. So
Right.
what I attempted to do essentially was try to buff all my characters up, and I pretty much waited until
Okay.
That was my thought. And the characters I brought in were Weasley Rams because it was late game speed. Brought in Time Walker for healing or protect shield. That was a great, good thing. Eric for healing or damage mitigation. Golem trying to nullify anybody that was actually using their physical abilities to chip damage.
Okay.
My Warden Geomancy. I had two good options, either disable or stones.
Okay,
It was a good
using the map to your advantage.
right. Trying to make that play. And then Paragraph for speed bonus, unmitigated damage, and AoE damage. Strong.
Okay. Good deal, good deal. Hey, Eludie, how you doing? Yeah, we are now just wrapping up Game 3 here. Drace had already taken Game 1 and Game 2 from Wingman, but we decided to go Game 3 just because it was going to do the full match, right? They just finished up Game 3. Drace also claimed that one as well. We're pretty much just now on afterthoughts kind of deal, and probably going to wrap it up for tonight, I'm thinking.
Field some questions.
Yeah.
Questions.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, this is Yoshi on the mic, but Drace is also directly beside me, so if anybody has any questions, thoughts, concerns, feel free to pop them in chat real quick, and we will try to answer them. This is the competitive pre-made save data that we're looking at right now, that we're playtesting. Just kind of getting some more active play, making sure that like certain builds aren't just either overperforming or underperforming. We recently had an update this week that, for the most part, the goal was to bring up damage. And even though Time Walker received a nerf, it was mostly just kind of put her healing in line because of how potent her healing was previously. So she's definitely still a good healer, but for choices. By all means, it's just not like super strong as it was. Yep. Good deal, Ludia. You should come check out some of the pre-made stuff, or even start her. Basically just she gets some melees in some point. We'll wait for Wingman to get back. He's AFK for Mike at the moment. Yeah, definitely should hop in and get a game in or something sometime, homie. For those that play back, okay, cool. Real quick, for those that are not aware what the pre-made builds are, I want to post a link to that real quick to our Trello board that has all the builds that are currently active in the pre-made save file. We will always update that pretty much first, because that is how it reflects what all the builds should be on, as well as you're able to like click on each build or each picture and be able to get a little bit more of a breakdown on how each build was kind of set up to do what, as well as what abilities each build has, because no character has all abilities. We've tried to specify each build to a certain thing, so that choices played a little bit more of a role on top of the map playing a role on said choices. Wingman, are you good for tonight? I mean, considering you already got 3 games in.
Chilling.
What's up? You kind of cut out there a little bit. What were we saying?
Oh, I said I'm just chilling.
Or are we just chilling? Grace, how about yourself? Y'all both just chilling. It sounds like you know what, folks. It sounds like to me we might have to get another game in real quick, but on a small map. Yeah, let's do a small. You know what? In fact, I have a map just for you. I want to check a map out, just kind of see how it goes. So if y'all want to get another one in, I have a specific map. Jace, if you want to host, and Wingman, if you're cool with that. Wingman, cool with that?
Yeah, I don't care.
Or we don't care. Heard that. All right. Yes, Drace is hosting right now, if you don't mind joining. I can't remember the exact map, but it's the one map where it's like the inside of a castle interior with like this red carpet going all the way down. It's a medium-sized map. I can't remember the name of it though. I think it's the one we did Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do a just like a random skirmish real quick. We're setting up. He is the host, which means Wingman will get enemy spawn positioning. This is still pre-made, of course. Try to find this map real quick here. Yeah, that's it. Cathedral Nave. Yep. Yeah, that's the one. Actually, I was thinking about maybe replacing that as out of level 3. All right, we're gonna just kind of do a quick map playtest here. This map is medium sized, but it is enclosed, and there isn't really any real block or objects blocking the path. So it's gonna be pretty much a straight shot for both of them. There isn't a whole lot of movement space. I would say minimum setup time if you want to build a group comp that needs setup. Probably have at least, depending, probably about 2 turns at least to set up. So a decent amount of time. Alright, here we go. We're going to play test this map real quick. Monday Cathedral Nave. Might bring this into the map rotation here at a later date. Might as well get some active feedback, right? Best time to do it. Bringing in the pre-mades, coming in hot. This is Drace's POV versus Wingman. Wingman will be the enemy or the guest this time around. Alright, you're on the ground, right? Okay, so Wingman has the high ground in that sense. Starting off first with Wingman's Time Walker. Time Walker excels at using time buffs and debuff magics, as well as using support Yados to apply either Protect Shell, which is exactly what Wingman's pushing to do now, or to use it for healing. She also does have the ability to sap MP if needed. She is a support. She is a pure support. She has really no offensive capabilities, but she definitely has some pretty awesome time magics. Hopping over now to Drace's Time Walker. She's going to go ahead and do the exact same. Protect Shell the group. Immediately get that damage taken cut in half. Alright, I'm swapping over down to Wingman Shadows. First time tonight, first time having Shadow in either group composition. Shadow is a very hard-hitting DPS. It's also noted that he's also very frail. His Aura Blast is extremely strong. Hits for about 286 unprotected, as well as having the ability to throw items even further out, and he also has a very hard-hitting dual wield as well. Alright, Wingman's going to push the Shadow straight into the middle line here. Eyeballing that Drace's Cleric. He's going to do a Mage Masher against... that's not a Cleric, it's a Templar, excuse me. I just realized this is in a Mana Shield proc. Trying to... ideally, SC was trying to get the silence off on Drace's Templar. But that did not completely do the trick here, but it will damage her MP. Swapping over down to Wingman's Bouncer. Just going in straight in for the Shockwave. Some decent damage here against Drace's Warden. And I'm swapping over to Wingman's Delita. Delita's also pushing directly into the front line. And he will end his turn. Okay. Swapping over now to Drace's
in
Delita.
range.
You weren't in range. Was Hollow Bolt wasn't in range?
No, I was off one tile.
Off one, okay. Yeah, you should. You really didn't have a tile?
You could have hit
No,
Yeah.
it was like the tile right in front of him. It wasn't doing the AOE. It wasn't hidden.
Okay. Maybe because of the vert. It shouldn't have. No, it shouldn't have mattered though. All right. Well, anyhow, Drace's Delita is going to return fire, Hollow Bolt, AOE 160 on Shadow and Delita. And then swapping over to Drace's Templar. Templar is a pretty interesting character. It's the first time seeing her tonight as well. She excels at coming in with using her spear, pushing towards enemies and attacking. She has a chance to apply Holy with her Holy Lance. So she may do some decent damage, and then she may follow up with some really hard-hitting damage, which usually can one-shot most people. She will take down Shadow Ever at a 40% chance to land, so that's a pretty good start for Drace. That is the first KO in this game. Now swapping over to Wingman's Pyravir. She's going to advance to the mid row. And going to go get that haste region off on her allies. This will hit all 4 remaining units. However, Murasame will Masonry will break because of that. At the rate of this gameplay, I don't think it's going to hinder too much though. Now swapping over to Drace's Warden. Warden's going to advance into the water. I think we know what's about to happen here. Alright, he's going to attempt to Torrent and get Toad off on these two. Did not land on Bouncer, did not land on Pyravir, but he still got 100 damage off, so pretty decent. Alright, now we're switching over to Drace's Pyravir. Just gonna put a little time in planning his next action here. What you guys are seeing is strategy at his finest. He's trying to, don't know the exact plan he's trying to make here, but he is counting spaces, which is going to be very important for his next play that I'm gathering here. So sometimes it takes a little initiative to do, kind of sit back, look at the terrain, see where you can go, see where abilities can land, stuff like that, see where your opponent can move. You can do all this stuff as well as a turn order, which is also very crucial for doing certain plays. Alright, she's going to set up and get a haste region off here on everyone except Templar. And that's going to do it for Drace's Pyravir. Now swapping over to Wingman's Time Walker. Time Walker's going to advance directly into the front line. Okay. Let's see what kind of play Wingman's aiming to do here. Alright, looks like she's going to start casting some time magics here. So Drace is going to need to plan this in advance here. Now it is Drace's turn, and his Time Walker's turn on top of that. Looks like from the Eternal Release, Weakman's attempting to cast Immobilize and a cross stack here, affecting Warden and Paravir. Andre's still planning out his next play here with his Time Walker. Alright, Time Walker's going to teleport to the back row of his party. And that's going to be it for her. Switching over now to Wingman's Delita. Alright, Delita's going to advance to the sides here. Looks like he's trying to line up here for a certain attack. Is he trying to focus the Warden down, or is he trying to go for Paravir? Maybe a little bit of both. Remember, Delita he is built for statusing. A lot of the Holy Sword abilities have secondary effects on top of doing some pretty decent damage. So it could be the game that Wingman's trying to play here, is trying to status and cripple his opponent. Right now, Drace's Warden is in a position that could be very threatening to Wingman's team if he's not careful. Alright, looks like Wingman's going to attempt to get a stop off on Warden. The stop does not connect, does do 144 damage against him though. Alright, Wingman's Time Walker is advancing Immobilize now. It misses on Warden. It does connect, however, on Paravir. Paravir now cannot it cannot move. She still can act, but she cannot move from her current position. Swapping over now to Wingman's Bouncer. Alright, she's going to Chakra the Paravir as well, so they're going to restore some HP and MP back. Pretty much putting Belter back to close to full health. Alright, so we'll kind of finishing play here as Wingman going to attempt to advance Bouncer to a direction, or he's going to wait her turn out so that she can get her turn back sooner. It looks like he's going to do just that. The second one, he's going to wait. It's going to increase her, or give her less CT to work with, or more CT to work with, so she'll get her turn back faster. Now swapping over to Drace's Delita. He's going to attempt to try to get the KO off. It lands. It will immediately KO Wingman's Time Walker. And that's another one down for the count. That puts Drace's unit count from 5 and Wingman down to 3. Alright, now we're swapping over to Wingman's Paravir. She's a very hard-hitting damage dealer. Looks like she's going to push directly towards Drace's Delita, and she's going to do Kotetsu, doing hitting all four, excuse me, for 120. Pretty good lineup there on damage. Swapping over now to Drace's critically conditioned Warden. Alright, looks like Drace is going to try to get that Torrent off. She gets toted. Oh man. Okay, so Paraveer is on toad status. That means that she is now basically going to be taking more damage incoming. She pretty much can't do any damage in terms of her PA. And also, at this point, pretty much a sitting duck, or a sitting toad, whatever you want to call it. Your choice. He's going to bring back his Warden into the back row as well, getting some passive health from Regen. And now it is Drace's Paraveer's turn. Just as a footnote, Paraveer cannot move, but she still can act. She is immobilized, not disabled. So she still has the ability to potentially do some range damage, either through her black magics or through close range Kotetsu. That's exactly what she's going to do, putting that frog down to a sad state. Looks like Drace probably made a little accident there. He just went ahead and immediately ended his Templar's turn. That's alright, he still has the field advantage at the moment. Swapping over to his Time Walker. Alright, Time Walker's going to go ahead and do Rain of Wisdom, getting his Warden's health back up from no longer being in low health. And also getting her out of the group stack. That's going to do it for Time Walker. Alright, now switching over to Wingman's Bouncer. Alright, Bouncer's going to go ahead and do a Shockwave, moderate damage on Paraveer and Warden. And now we're switching over to Wingman's Delita. He's still in a pretty good position. He can make a couple plays here. He's going to go and immediately look at towards Drace's team stack. I was going to go for a triple Hollow Bolt here. Puts Warden in critical condition. Paraveer and Delita both also take quite a bit of damage there. Alright, now we're swapping over to Drace's Delita. Alright, Delita's going to return the favored Hollow Bolt. Wingman's Delita, pushing 160 damage against him. Alright, now it's Drace's Templar's turn to act. He's going to push her directly on towards Delita with a very low attack percentage against and as a parry. And no holy. Alright, that's going to do it for Templar. Alright, look like it's time for Wingman's Toaded Paraveer. In critical condition. Toad's going to get behind that Warden. Give him a little bit of a licking. Alright, Paraveer did try regardless, but that, you know, there was more to be desired. Anyways, Paraveer does go down from Nature's Wrath being procced. Drake's trying to plan out here his next play with his Warden. His Warden is in critical condition, pretty much able to be taken down here on the next attack. Alright, looks like he's going to go ahead and shift his Warden into the water, get a little bit of recovery from Regen, and end his turn. I'll swapping over to Drace's Paraveer. She's still immobilized, so she cannot move. Still can act. Alright, looks like Paraveer's going to start casting magics here in a second. Swapping over to Drace's Time Walker. She's going to teleport back into her back row of her party. And immediately get some healing done to your group. Alright, now I'm switching over to Wingman's Bouncer. Bouncer's going to push directly towards Templar. Alright, she's going to attempt to do a pummel. Hopefully she gets a high roll. She does. Or get a medium-sized roll at least. And for 108 against Templar. Alright, now we're going to be hopping over to Wingman's Delita. Still in pretty decent shape health-wise, but he does not have direct support outside of his Bouncer's Chakra. He's going to bring his Delita straight into the pool of water nearby Drace's Warden and Paraveer. Alright, just trying to land the KO. The KO does not connect, however, still dealing 144 damage to Warden. Alright, swapping over now to Drace's Delita. We're just going to attempt to return the favor on the KO. KO does not connect. Still doing 144 damage to Wingman's Delita. Alright, Paraveer is going to start casting Blizzard on Drace's Warden. This will restore health because Warden has absorb ice through his ice shield. Alright, Warden's going to attempt to Torrent. This will not connect the Toad because Delita is immune to Toad. This still will deal some damage to Wingman's Delita. And Paraveer is still in immobilized state, so she cannot move. But She is in range to Katetsu, so she's going to follow up with just that. That's going to put Wingman's Delita in critical condition. Swapping over now to Wingman's Bouncer. He's got a few plays here you can make to see what kind of play he decides to go with. Alright. I'm also going to attempt to get a pummel off. She gets a lower roll on the hit. Still doing 72 damage, decent damage against Drace's Templar. And she's going to push back towards starting spawn. Swapping over now to Wingman's Delita. He is in critical condition with 100 HP left. He's going to have to make a real important play here, considering that he's more than likely going to be KO'd on the next go around on Drace's behalf. Excuse me guys if you caught that cough, by the way. Alright, so like Wingman's still trying to determine the next play his Delita can make. It's probably going to be his last one. He's going to try to take down that Warden. The KO does connect. That will fail Warden immediately. Alright, and Delita's going to back off. He still has Regen, so he was able to get himself out of critical HP condition. And potentially able to take another hit from Drace's Delita. Drace is going to push forward his Delita directly towards Wingman's Delita. Alright, looks like Drace is going to try to go for the KO. Gets the KO. That's going to be pretty much the end for Wingman's offensive line. He still has his Bouncer, which is offensive in nature, but main problems is that with the remaining stack that Drace has, she's going to be able to absorb a lot of hits, but she's not going to be able to do a lot of damage out. So it's really going to come down to how Wingman's going to play this last portion of Drace's Time Walker's turn. Push for some healing here. Get everybody topped up. Alright, like Shadow has hit his death sentence, so he's now out of the game. Switching back over to Time Walker, she gets a turn again. Well, she's going to apply Protect Shell to her group stack, cutting their damage taken in half. And that's going to do it for Drace's Time Walker. Drace's Templar is now casting Holy on Wingman's Bouncer. Does 180, pretty decent damage. No Soulbind proc. Now swapping over to Wingman's Bouncer, his last remaining unit. Like she's going to go in for the Shockwave. There's 72 across Time Walker and Templar. Alright, Drace's Delita coming forward in, pushing towards the Bouncer. Alright, he's going to attempt to go for another KO. The KO lands as well. Delita is on fire. Will be the end of this game. North Swing Strike is strong as hell. Good game, Cody. All right, folks. Now that we've gotten that out the way, real quick, thoughts on that map in general? Cody, you there? Or are you muted again? Probably muted again. Yeah, I don't hear. Mm-mm.
For real?
Oh, there he is. 1 second.
I'm controller just delete.
Oh, control DC. Okay. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thoughts on that map in particular?
I mean, it's nice basic map.
Nice basic map. Okay.
I mean, it's distant enough where you can't like just run in right off from the get-go.
Okay. Distant, can't run in from the get-go, kind of.
But it's close enough to where it forces like some interaction and not being like
I think
waiting for someone to go in first, like the level 3.
Okay. Yeah, I think you might be cutting out a little bit too. But I caught what you're saying though. A little bit more distance, but not where you can just run up in there. But also where there's not a lot of wait time, so it's probably a fair middle ground for mid-size map. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Cool beans. Drees.
Pretty much about the same. That felt kind of decent size, not too quick, not too big, not too snowy. It's a fair map.
Okay. Yeah, the biggest thing with that map is there isn't any real structure to it, so there isn't any real way to hide or get someone behind something.
I didn't check the elevation.
I mean,
There's a little bit of elevation.
There's a little bit of elevation.
Not much.
there's not really any way that most of the abilities that are predominantly used as far as DPS goes ignores most like heights and stuff anyways.
That's true.
So I don't see how that it'll like could affect the archer and the crossbow and the guns.
Right.
Pretty much it as far as structures go.
That is true. All right. Do you guys have any closing points? Anything? Any thoughts? Comments? Anybody in the chat as well? Anybody got any questions or concerns before we close out for the night? Sounds like a no. All right, that's all good too. All right, so just as a recap, this was the second pre-made battle test using the competitive pre-made builds. These builds are designed to be role specific, so you have damage dealers, tanks, support, and basically, like besides the map itself, you want to also build a group composition that probably has a variety of set things. So kind of think a little bit of Overwatch, maybe League of Legends kind of deal. In that sense, it's kind of the goal we're trying to go with that. Of course, the gameplay is going to be slower for this versus starter, where like you basically have like high-end gear, and basically it's going to be like running and gunning and doing a lot of damage at once. The gameplay and the game flow is a little bit more controlled in that sense. But still, you know, if you like the slower pace, want to be able to see a little more magics in use, stuff like that, starter's a pretty decent, or excuse me, pre-made's a decent way to go about it. All right, so with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and call it for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, viewers that are still in there, for watching and checking out the games we have played tonight. This stuff will go up on YouTube shortly, and we'll catch you the next time. Have a great night.